YouTubers, stay normal. It has actually been a week since I posted a video, and I want to apologize to you guys, but our computer decided to take a crap for whatever reason, and, like, refused to work. It's insane. My husband finally got it fixed yesterday, but by the time I got home from work, it was late, and I was tired, so I decided to wait until today, where I was a little, more bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, so to speak. Sorry, I take my glasses off, the glare off the screen. It's gonna drive me nuts. I went Wednesday last week, and had my first impression done, of my gums. First of all, that stuff is disgusting. And for those of us that are old school, it tasted like Aquanet hairspray. If you've ever, like, done your hair and, like, fogged the bathroom with Aquanet, that god-awful, chemical-y taste, covered with a little bit of mint. So it basically tasted like a piece of gum from the bottom of Grandma's purse. It was gross. I didn't gag. It wasn't overly, offensive in my mouth. It was really quick. I was done within a few minutes. I went in, what is today? I went in Monday, yesterday, and had the wax bite impression done. What this is it's a tray that's made to fit like a denture, and it has a wax bite, impression thing on the bottom of it, on each one. And when they have you relax your jaw and then, bite like you would normally, and it sticks them together to where they can see how, putting your mouth, putting your setting your jaw like you were putting your teeth together normally, what kind of gap that leaves. It's not offensive. There was no taste or, grossness to it. It was really quick. I go next Monday for my wax fit, and what this will be is, basically it's like a set of wax dentures. It will have the teeth and everything in them, and they will put them in and make any adjustments they need to make before they make the final denture. This gives them a chance to adjust the gum, impression. It gives them an idea of how high up your denture needs to go, because everybody, the depth of your gum is different for everybody. It lets them adjust the teeth height, their position, so that your bite is even on both sides. It also gives you a chance to see what your dentures are going to look like. So I'm kind of interested. I'm hoping that they will let me take a picture with the wax try-ins to see, so that I can post it on the video. And I will post next Monday. And then the following Monday, I will get my teeth. Yay. Still having problems with this one bone spur right here in the front. However, when I did the bite impression, he told me that would tell the tale on whether or not I needed to go back and have that shaved down or whatever fixed, because it doesn't seem like it's wanting to come out. It just wants to be annoying. But when I did the bite impression, I didn't feel that at all. Ironically, I felt a spot back here, and I told him, I said, this is kind of funny because I didn't feel this at all, but I felt, that I had had a bone spur previously back here on this side. So, time will tell, but he said that the fact that I didn't feel it when I bit down, means that it's not gonna affect me when they put my dentures in. But I got to pick my teeth color yesterday, which was kind of strange, because you look at this little panel and it has teeth on it in varying stages of color or whatever, and they kind of look like chiclets. It reminds me of my kids' baby teeth, kind of what it looks like. But I mean, it's hard sitting there looking at a panel of teeth going, So it'll be interesting, and this will give me a chance next week when I go for the wax try-in, that if I don't like the color, I can go up a shade or down a shade or whatever. So we'll see. So I mean, I'm not going for, glow in the dark, but I'm also, I want them to look, white. But some people can't pull off extremely white teeth. So we'll see. But I also made the comment to the dentist that, I was worried at the fact that my tongue feels like it doesn't fit in my mouth anymore. And he made the comment that, he goes, well, when I put this bite impression in, he goes, I want you to feel how your tongue just kind of falls in line. He goes, our tongues are a lot bigger than people understand. He goes, but it's kind of corralled by the teeth, so we don't ever really notice it. He goes, you take those teeth out, and he goes, it's kind of like pudding. Without, a container, it just kind of smooths itself out. And it was kind of funny because when he put the bite impression tray in my mouth, it didn't feel overwhelming. It didn't feel abnormal. It didn't feel out of place. And he, and the tray that they use it's a little thinner than what a denture would be, but it's about the same setup. And it was kind of amazing to me that when he put that in, it didn't feel foreign, I guess is the word I'm looking for. My tongue seemed to just fall back into line. And I gotta admit, having that in my mouth and making the bite, with something as resistance in between the gums felt so good. It felt natural, versus, closing my mouth now with no teeth. It doesn't feel natural. It feels abnormal. And ironically, it feels like I have an underbite. And I don't, but it's the way that my jaw sits when it comes together without the teeth. It feels like I have an underbite, and it's kind of funny. But I made the same comment to the dentist, and he said, well, it's because my jaw is trying to compensate for the fact that there's no teeth there, and so it's trying to realign itself to be useful. Well, in doing so, it makes me feel like I have an underbite. But he said, and it hurts to completely close my jaw. And I can't completely close it, but I can get, the front part of my gums to touch. And that hurts. It right back in here at the base of the joint, it hurts. But having that bite plate in, I was able to, close my mouth for the first time in 2 months, almost, and it felt as close to normal as I have for years. And that's very comforting to me to think that, once I have my teeth, that it's going to feel right. And I asked the dentist, what kind of learning curve we're looking at here, and he kind of told me, he says, well, for different people it's different things. He goes, the more you use it, the more that you're consciously trying to figure out, how to chew properly, or how to, he goes, the easier it will be. He goes, but it doesn't work like, the set of teeth you were born with. He goes, it's a different situation. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be perfect, but I'm more confident now than I was a week ago. Because honestly, like, putting that tray in my mouth yesterday, and I mean, it fit like an upper plate and a lower plate. The lower piece looked, is horseshoe like the lower plate, and the upper piece had um the piece for the roof of your mouth or whatever. Yeah, and they looked pretty much like a denture plate. Um so I mean, having that feeling, in your mouth, it didn't it wasn't irritating or, whatever to the roof of my mouth. It didn't feel abnormal or intrusive and it went pretty far back. I was actually kind of surprised at how far back it went, and um it didn't bother me, which I was thoroughly surprised. I will admit, when they did the impressions last week, the stuff they use is kind of like a wet Play-Doh consistency. I mean, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but that's pretty much what it appears to be and what it feels like. And when they put it in the roof of your mouth, they have to put quite a bit on there to ensure that they get a good, complete view, impression of your entire upper jaw. So when they do that, there's a lot of stuff in that tray. And when they have to kind of push push it up into your gums so that it completely covers, both front and back and the upper, roof of your mouth. If you're not careful, it will get back there in the gag zone. And I came pretty close. But, at the point where it was becoming apparent that, it was going to make me sick if they didn't get it out of my mouth, it was ready to come out. And I mean, not even 60 seconds. Seriously. It was pretty quick, and that was a blessing. It was messy. They kind of got it on my face or whatever, and it once it dries, it's kind of like a chalky, it comes off really quickly. But when everything was all done, they let me rinse my mouth out, and they brought me a little toothbrush to kind of brush the nasty off of the roof of my mouth. Because rinsing just didn't seem to get that taste out of my mouth, and that was bothering me more than anything. But they they let me clean my face up or whatever. I'm gonna urge any of you that do this to understand one thing, and that is that don't expect this to be a wham bam thank you ma'am type of process. I went in for my first impressions on Wednesday last week. I went in yesterday and had the bite impression done. I'll go in this coming Monday and have the wax try-in done. And then the following Monday, I will get my teeth. It's kind of an infuriating process, I have to admit, because I didn't anticipate this. And so going in, I thought that, things were going to move pretty quickly. When all total, it's about a 3-week process. So you figure you've waited 6 weeks for, healing time or whatever, just to get the impressions, and then have to wait another further 3 weeks, of appointment after appointment after appointment to actually get your teeth. And it's kind of a hurry up and wait. And it's infuriating. I am so, I'm so ready for this to be over with. And honestly, it's a catch-22, because I know that waiting, these extra couple of weeks and allowing them to do the process, do it right the first time, and make sure that I have a good fit and I'm happy with the teeth that I have is the ultimate goal. And I understand that that takes time because it's done by hand, it's precision. I get it. And I'm not poo-pooing the method. Don't get me wrong. But for someone that has gone through what I've gone through the last few years, what I've gone through the last 6 weeks, to have to find out that my expectation was not the reality, and that again I'm going to have to wait another couple weeks, it is kind of disheartening. And I got to admit, when the dentist explained all this to me, I kind of got choked up. I kind of got upset, and he asked me what was wrong, and I told him, I said, I don't like looking this way. I don't like feeling this way. What do I do? And he kind of put his arm around me and he said, look, he goes, I want to make sure that when you walk out of this office with those teeth, he goes, that you are confident, that you are happy, and that they are the very best that I can give you. And he goes, I do it this way because I know that without a shadow of a doubt, that it gives me every opportunity to make adjustments, to make corrections, to make sure that that fit is 100%. And he goes, to the point that, 2 weeks after you get your teeth, he goes, I want you to come back and I want to reevaluate and make sure that we don't need to make any adjustments, that, it's not too high here or too low there, or, he goes, that it is exactly what you need. And it made me feel better, in a sense, that it wasn't just, oh, we drag it out because it gets 3 more appointments out of you. No, they do it that way so that it gives them every opportunity and every chance to adjust and, change or whatever they need to, so that those dentures are made 100% mirror image of my gums, so that when I put them in, they're snug, that they're the appropriate height, that they are, exactly what I need, and that I am happy with the color, the arrangement, that it's as perfect as they can get it. And I know that in the end that I'm going to be totally satisfied and happy with what I have. Is that any consolation now? No. Am I happy about that now? No. Does that solve my immediate problem? No, it does not. Is it better in the long run? Yeah. And, I'm sure a year from now, I'm going to look back on this and go, geez, what a whiner. It was 3 weeks, wasn't that big a deal, blah, blah. Well, yeah, but, and hindsight is 2020. So, looking back, I'm sure that this is going to seem trivial, but in the moment, it's irritating because I know what I'm waiting for. And as I told you before, a friend of mine has also gone through this process, and she's gotten her teeth a few weeks ago, and seeing how wonderful she looks and seeing how well that she's done with it is totally motivation for me. And so now it's, I want my chance. You know what I'm saying? I want my, my day in the sun to be, happy about the smile and the person that reflects in the mirror, and to be ready, for whatever life throws at me. Um, so it, I guess, long story short, I know that, these 3 weeks are going to go by faster than what I anticipate. And, I mean, I, I encourage everyone that is going through this process to sit down and talk to your denturist or your dentist, whoever is making your teeth, and have them explain the process to you, because every single one of them is different. No two denturists or dentists do their process the same. They all have their own quirks. And and have found ways that work best for them. And that's fine. Um but take the time to talk to them and find out what the steps are in their process. Once you get your impressions, what's the chain of events after that that leads to you walking out with your teeth. So that when you have your extractions done, at 6 weeks I do this, and then at 7 weeks and 8 weeks and blah 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 on down. You know what the chain of events is going to be. Um, because the anticipation and the letdown of not, of things not going as planned or as I, had understood it, was tremendous. And it's hard to explain. But on the same page, it's reassuring to me that the dentist was willing to sit down and explain the entire process to me, and how they do it all, and how, what each step involves and why they do it that way. And, it it was reassuring to me. So again, hopefully next week, my dentist will allow me to take pictures, or even a quick video clip of what I look like with the wax try-ins, um, because I would love for you guys to be able to see what that process looks like. Um, and it's surreal to think that, the 15th of March, I went in and had my extractions done. And here we are, the 3rd day of May, and I'm a little over 2 weeks away, or, well, actually a little under, I guess, from being at the end of this road. And if there's anything that I can offer as far as encouragement or motivation or whatever, it's this. Prior to having my extractions done, I was taking anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of ibuprofen a day, and that's on a good day. Using Oragel, things of that nature to help cope with tooth pain and things like that. And since my extractions, now this is barring extraction medication and all that, I haven't taken ibuprofen, haven't had a headache, and from somebody that had a headache at least twice, 3 times a week, since March 15th, I think I've had 2 headaches total. And they were very manageable. And I mean, I'm prone to migraines. I've had migraines for years. And this is the longest stretch I've had without having a migraine, in a long time. Knock on wood. I've noticed, and I've said this before, changes in food, the taste, the texture, you know, like and dislike, things that I didn't like before, kind of taste different to me now. Things that I liked before, I can't eat now. Um, and honestly, smushy food aside, it's been a pretty easy process. Um, I healed quite quickly. And I'm able to eat, you know, pretty well right now. It still has to be, really tiny bites, and can't be anything that, is really of any kind of tough consistency. But it's been easier than I thought. What's been harder on me through this whole process is the emotional aspect. It's the huge apparent physical change in your face. I look in the mirror and I don't even recognize the person I see. Um, Personally, I think my face has aged, you know, a good 10 years without my teeth. I look older, and that, I don't want to look older. Um, it's, it can be depressing if you let it. But again, and I've said this before, I have a remarkable support system between friends and family and coworkers of just great folks that keep reminding me that this is a means to an end, and that we're only part of the way through the process. And it's been great for me. I mean, even my kids, yeah, they teased me and kind of busted my chops, and it's all in good fun. But they keep reminding me, that it's we're almost there. We're almost there, you know, and that's helped a lot. Um, and I mean, for anybody that's going through this, you know, find friend, family, spouse, somebody, that is going to be that encouragement, because that's going to be the most important of all, is finding your ability to say, you know what, this sucks, and I don't like how I look right now, and I don't like this situation, but it's a means to an end. Um, and do your homework. Talk to your surgeon, talk to your denturist, find out what the process is, what the timeline is, what you can expect. Because at this point, knowledge is your biggest and your best weapon, you know, to keep yourself in line and say, okay, this is where I am, this is what I can, this is what's next, on down the road. Um, because it's a goal to work towards. Start with the small ones, get through the extraction and then the healing time. And okay, well, now I'm done with the healing and now I get my impression. Okay, well, I've hit that, next milestone is getting, the bite impression, and then the wax try-in, and, and take small steps. Because a week is far easier to anticipate and get through than 3 weeks. Take it off a little at a time. But I'm gonna jump off here for now. If you guys have questions, comments, as always, don't forget to, somewhere down here, subscribe. I've also put on my page links to some of the folks that I watch, you know, that are going through this process, have been through this process, you know, and a lot of them are from different points of view. So, I mean, it's not just, you know, the positive side of things or the negative side of things. It's kind of all of our experiences, you know. We've all experienced different things, and it's helped me to see, you know, kind of where somebody else is coming from on this. Um, but you know, as always, I appreciate you guys so much for giving my, you know, the videos likes and reviews, and it helps me to know that I'm not just talking to myself, more or less. Um, and as always, you know, give me a like, a subscribe. If you want to leave a comment, that's great. Um, I am fixing to start a Twitter account for my YouTube, and I will post that in the comments as well, so you guys can hit me up on Twitter. But I appreciate your time, and I wish you guys all the best. So for now, see you later, guys.